You mentioned a negotiated settlement on tariffs. What we heard yesterday from Prime Minister Mark Carney, speaking as Prime Minister yesterday, were these matching tariffs on automobiles from the United States. Is there what does a federal government need to do? We are in an election right now. What do you think that the next federal government needs to do? Then is it about countermeasures, or is the ultimate goal some kind of negotiated deal?
Yeah, so I think in the long term, as Canadians and myself, the way I look at kind of the outlook of Canada, Canada will do well when the US does well and when North America does well. There's no other way about it. And so, the going it alone approach, it's nice rhetoric, but it's really hard to make that work for Canada. It's hard to see the level of prosperity. We see more prosperity the more interlinked we are with the US and the more trade we do with the US. And the US is a behemoth of a consumer, and we want to sell to the US. And that's how Canada does well for the long term. In the short term, obviously, there's going to be negotiations. There's going to be the threat of tariffs back and forth. And obviously, wanting to posture before negotiations are done. It's hard to know the exact, it's hard to know exactly what the US administration wants as an end outcome, and if there could be some sort of negotiated settlement in terms of, a couple of things that they're looking to do. But obviously, Canada does well when the US does well and when tariffs are basically gone or close to zero. So how we get to that point and what levers need to get pulled and what people need to say to make other people feel good, or whatever other types of agreements, whether it's security agreements, economic agreements, other types of agreements that we could do, that we need to get into the room to figure out what are the levers that Canadian government needs to pull to figure that out. Now, obviously, I'm sure they're trying really hard. And look, Canada's not the only country that's impacted by this. Basically, it's the whole world. So everyone's trying to figure out how this gets solved. There's also a lot of pressure with the stock markets falling on the U.S. administration. Are they really going to hold these tariffs for the long term? Because the stock markets are dropping quite a bit. A lot of uncertainty in the U.S. as well. So ultimately, it comes down to a negotiation. You want to have the smart people in the room trying to figure that out and representing Canada and coming to some sort of deal. It's easy, to kind of watch other people and tell them to do this and to do that. But if you're not in the room, you really don't know what the real levers are. So you just kind of hope and pray that the best people are in the room and they're going to come to some sort of conclusion that works well for everybody.